I'm Juli. Notice the lack of beat. And yes, I'm going to get back to doing like actually impressive things at some point. Like writing songs on camera or I don't know. But right now, there's something that I need to talk about called Halsey's new album. So, part of me was really excited for this album, but part of me was kind of dreading it because I didn't really like all the singles, but I was really excited because Hopeless Fountain Kingdom, in my opinion, was one of the most sonically interesting albums I've heard in a really long time. And the way that she had some straight up bangers on there for sure, but then she also just had like some really weird, interesting songs. I loved that album. So I had full faith in Halsey that she would do something similar, and I think she came through. I've listened to this album a lot since it's come out, and it's definitely a very Halsey album. It has all of the weird songs on it, but also some bangers for sure. The problem is I really dislike Without Me and Graveyard, so that kind of threw me for a loop there, but I absolutely loved, I'll get into this later, but I absolutely loved Finally / Beautiful Stranger, and that's kind of what made me excited for this album. So I'm just gonna go through all of these songs and say a little piece about why I think they're good or bad. And just kind of talk about things that I noticed in this album that were interesting or things that were absolutely not interesting. Okay, Manic by Halsey. The first song is Ashley. I thought this was a really cool song, and I think that a big concept of this album is Halsey discovering herself and kind of wrestling with her past and her present and understanding herself through that. And so I thought Ashley was a really interesting song, really beautiful. Clementine, I absolutely hated when I first saw the music video. I was like, what are you trying to do? But then I realized that I hardcore relate to this song at like a spiritual level, and I've never heard anyone talk about the things I relate to in the song before. I really like Clementine, and I think it's an interesting depiction of Halsey's inner voices and inner world in a way that's actually really relatable and really effective. The whole, I don't need anyone, I just need everyone and then some. I think a lot of people can relate to the concept of wanting to be independent and wanting to be this like bad bitch, tough person, but actually really needing everyone's validation 24/7 and still lacking in your self-esteem and in your clarity about who you are and what you want. So I thought Clementine was actually very beautiful and really sonically interesting. So Graveyard, as I said before, here's the thing. I personally don't like Graveyard, but it's not because I think it's a bad song. It's just like, I hate the way she says graveyard. It's like kind of everything I hate about Halsey's voice in one song, but it's like a solid song. Like, I don't think it's objectively a bad song or in any way. I do hate the line where she says, when the thing you want the most is a detriment, now let that sink in. Because it's like she just said a line, and then as a response to that line, she's telling the audience to, yeah, let that sink in. I thought that was a really dumb line, but besides that, I think the song is actually like a solid song. I just personally don't really enjoy listening to it very much. You Should Be Sad is kind of a jigsaw puzzle of horrible lines. Which really sucks because I thought the music video was gonna be really cool because she looked so good in it in a way that was kind of like, I don't know, sometimes people look good in a way that makes you hate yourself, and then sometimes people look good in a way that makes you feel like you want to wear the same outfit and feel just as hot. And that's kind of what that music video felt like to me. Maybe that was just a me thing. I was excited for You Should Be Sad because it's a really funny title for a song, but it's horrible. I'm so glad I never ever had a baby with you. It's so when she's like, I tried to help you, it just made you mad. Please. You Should Be Sad was a very huge disappointment to me because every time you're about to get into it, then she just kind of like helps you out with a horrible line. So that's how I feel. Forever Is a Long Time is kind of like reminds me the most of a Hopeless Fountain Kingdom song because it starts off being something and then it ends really differently. It goes through almost like a theatrical arc in the song, which I think is really interesting. So it's one of the songs that's not super fun to listen to for me personally, but I really admire it and think it's cool. And I love how it ends with that, talk to your man, tell him he got bad news coming, and then Dominic's interlude ties that in. Dominic's interlude is so fantastic and I genuinely enjoy listening to it. It's so great. I think it's super interesting and also just like actually catchy, because there's songs that I admire because of their complexity or because I admire the artist for releasing a song like that, but I don't really enjoy listening to them. Then there's songs that are really interesting but also actually fun to listen to and actually fun to show people. And Dominic's interlude is definitely one of those for me. I also love Dominic Fike. 3 Nights makes me feel some type of way. Please comment down below if 3 Nights also makes you just like your pupils dilate, you just kind of, I'm not gonna tell you personal stories about that song, but moving on. I Hate Everybody, it took me a second to like it, but I actually really like it and I love the way that Dominic's interlude goes into it. I think it's a really funny, like self-reflective concept of I'm so alone, I'm so independent, but I also can't go home without someone. I just really relate to Halsey's validation problems. 3 AM is not my favorite like type of song. Like it's kind of a little bit 2006 like The Fray. So I don't really enjoy it very much, but I don't think it's a bad song. I think it might be the weakest song on this album though. Without Me, as I've already said, I don't personally like it very much, but I think it's some smart pop writing. The Without Me is good and well done, interesting. Dun, dun, da, 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 da. I think the line, I filled your cup until it overflowed, is kind of cringy to me, but I can't really figure out why. But yeah, so that's how I feel about Without Me. Finally, Beautiful Stranger. This song gave me hope for this album because I was like, Halsey ain't my shit anymore. She's gone for me. Don't like any of her singles. But this song, I think I'm kind of a sucker for that chord progression. I don't know what it is about it. It's a similar chord progression to Only Exception by Paramore and Once in a Lifetime by One Direction. The thing is, like, it's a very long chorus, but it somehow pulls together all of the loose ends in a way that feels really clean and makes sense. Beautiful, 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 magnificent. I love that chord progression. Atlantis' interlude, I can't really get into it, so I don't have a very good opinion on that one. I love Killing Boys. I think it's brilliant that it starts with the Jennifer's Body quote. Yeah, I think Killing Boys is a really interesting song. It's kind of like this whole narrative of getting back at someone. It's almost like a picture to burn, but a little bit darker, and it has a lot of really interesting sonic textures in it. Sugar's interlude, I am not a huge K-pop fan, so I can't really get into it, but I also don't know what they're saying at all because I don't understand the language. So if you guys have any opinions, valid opinions on Sugar's interlude, please tell me, because I have no opinion on it because I just kind of don't really understand what is going on during it. More is a fantastic song. I love More. I think it's precious. I think there's so many interesting things about the story that she's telling. Kind of is applicable to so many different emotions. And it's just so rich. It's really interesting narrative because it's a song about both her and the person she's singing about, and all of these different things. You can get a different narrative out of it depending on what you're focusing on. I think that it's produced really interestingly. I love More. I think it's fantastic. Still Learning is really sweet. I think it was a really important song for Halsey to release. I think it hits a little weak though. Like the whole Still Learning part of it hits a little weak. I still think that overall it's a good concept that is well done. 929 I absolutely love. I think it's really sweet, really funny. I love when artists do this kind of thing. I love when they release super personal songs where they kind of just brain fart about all the different things going on in their head in a really honest way, because it kind of breaks away their facade. I think she did that so good in 929, and how the whole punchline of it is that she wasn't actually born on 929. at 929. And that's just another texture of her being honest about her personality. She's a liar, and that's something that she's come to terms with. I think there's also a lot of really good lines in that. Almost seems like something she collected lines for several months and just kind of wrote it down line by line over the course of like a year. And I think it's a very good last song. Yeah, I think that Halsey is really good at making albums. I really admire her ability to make genuinely interesting songs that are cohesive in the format of an album and say something interesting about the world and herself. I don't know, I thought the Manic was good. It definitely has some really good ones in it. That's my opinion. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please become a patron. I am making a song right now that I'm going to eventually release, and I'm showing you every step of that process on Patreon. And I'm using Logic, so I'm kind of going to be teaching you how to use Logic during that. It's $5, which is less than a latte. And please follow me on Instagram, and please subscribe to this channel. Tell your friends, tell your families. Please subscribe to this channel. Thank y'all so much for supporting me in my work. Please check out my original music, and have a great day.